Hi guys, welcome to Mogul's first live Q&A coming to you. We have a very special guest who's going to be chatting with us today, Jordan Ver Hoeve. He stars as Luke in Netflix Huge in France. So we're just going to wait for Jordan to jump in the chat. And again, for anybody, I can see Jordan's just jumped in. He's actually one of the first that's jumped in. We're just going to wait for Jordan connected. But very excited to have Jordan speaking with us. He's also got another film coming out called Exploited. So just as we're waiting, Jordan, how are you?
What's going on?
Hey, thanks very much for having a chat with Mogul. You're the first guest we've had on the live Q&A.
Oh shoot! Well, thank you.
Yeah. So just for the people jumping in the chat as well, if anyone wants to ask a question either for Jordan or also just wanting to know what is Mogul, what is the platform, we can talk about that as well. Please jump out any questions. And Jordan, same thing with yourself. If you want to know any of the particulars about Mogul, let us know, because I know that you've actually signed up to the platform as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm curious about the questions too.
Tell me something like, what's your first thoughts of getting on a platform like that? I mean, to sort of help actors, especially.
Well, one, it's cool because there's nothing like set up yet, and being even before, especially given like the current situation we're all dealing with, everything is just over online, interacting through online platforms, just because this darn virus we all got to deal with. But like we're making it work. But even before this, just if anything, like 75% of all auditions material was all self-tape, was all through email, was already like such a online based platform, and no one really had anything set up like in stone towards this. So I think it's super cool, and especially following this, it's going to be something that's going to be more like a lot more required just given the current circumstances. So I'm pumped. It creates more opportunity. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's great feedback, because I mean, my question to you right now, I mean, obviously the coronavirus has kind of put a lot of things on hold. Like, what are you doing at the moment? Like, what's your day-to-day activities now? I mean, I didn't really get a chance to tell everybody, but you played Luke on Netflix Huge in France, another film coming out. You're a busy guy. Tell us a little bit about what your day-to-day life is now with the coronavirus.
So falling into like coming up until the weeks once like we were aware of it, like the virus in China, but it wasn't so hyped up here yet. Like I was, man, they were keeping me busy. I think I was going like out like 5 to 6 times a week, and like with good feedback as well. Just like, and I'm still in the same boat, so I'm not Tom Hanks booking things like he's like booking people to work for him, like for his,
Right. Yeah.
I'm still in the boat pursuing my craft, still out there doing auditions. So it's just like 5 to 6 auditions a week for some pretty cool big projects, big networks, and then this hit, and it definitely, I think everyone just like got shaken a little bit, especially LA, being they were so strict about certain businesses and the amount of people you have, where it really kind of just like everyone kind of just went like, what do we do? So
Yeah.
it did slow down a lot in terms of auditions coming from big studios or big networks or just projects in general. But I mean, I just had that. I think the first week it happened, I had a couple auditions. Like everyone took a hit, and then it slowed down a little bit. But I'm still, luckily, I have like great representation. Is still pushing me out for projects and material. I just had an audition, all self tapes yesterday. My coach is awesome, works with me, and we're still pursuing the craft, developing myself as an actor, regardless of whether I'm on a job or not. So I'm staying busy in that sense, and I'm still getting opportunities to send some auditions out.
How much do you think of you kind of like your day-to-day activities now are online thanks to the coronavirus? Like auditions, self-tapes, acting coaches. I mean, how much has that changed?
Man, I mean, just to put in, I mean, I probably have about a 4.5 hour Zoom class tonight. That's 2 times a week, and then spend 3 hours just on that one audition yesterday with my coach, and then taping. So if I get 2 to 3 auditions a week, even during this time when it's a little slower, that's still maybe nine hours just with my coach and taping. And then on my own terms, I mean, I'll be like messaging my mom, be like, Mom, sorry if you don't hear from me, I gotta study, and she knows like I'm into like grind mode. So I'm most of my days like literally I'm like, okay, I gotta study, put this work in here. So a lot of when I get an audition, I just like to, or any material, focus on it. And so I definitely put a good like sometimes 6 hours a day into that material, depending on how much time I have with it.
What I mean, and that's how it work. I mean, that's how you make it in Hollywood, right? You've got to work
Morning.
hard. Um,
Yeah.
what are you seeing other actors around you doing right now? I mean, I bring up the idea of technology is there to help an actor, but are you seeing like other actors are kind of waiting for this thing to blow over, other actors to kind of jumping on the technology side? I mean, what are the guys around you doing?
Yeah, I think everyone was kind of, that's why I find this really cool, because people don't know what to do right now. I think they're kind of waiting till it blows over, but it's like we're being given like dates here and there. Oh, push this back more, but oh, we don't, to be determined. So it's like you can only do so much within within developing yourself, um, until like a platform like this like makes it a little bit easier to receive an opportunity. So for me, I've honestly seen most actors just kind of playing the waiting game.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, unfortunately, I think a lot, the whole industry, writers, producers, or directors, they're all just like, okay, well, it'll sit on this for now and it'll blow over. But I mean, you got to do something. Well,
Right, right. You got to be active because otherwise that's where other people gain on you because while you're sleeping, they're training, even if it's a kind of a pivot the way they're training.
mm-hmm.
Um, got a lot of people asking before you actually came on the chat as well, wanting to know a little bit about Huge in France, your experiencing shooting the show. I mean, I'll ask you right up. I mean, for people that don't know the show, how would you best describe it?
Best describe the show. It's just, the thing is, I always tell people, I'm like, I swear I am not being biased. It's a good show. I mean, like like, if even if I was out of it holds my attention. Like, all the other actors are amazing. It's funny, it's relatable. You pick up like the little cliches of LA, like we make fun of certain things. We have some great guest stars who, I mean, you have Jerry Seinfeld there, Chris D'Elia, who's blowing up right now too. Just like really, John Stamos. It's very broad range of interest among the audience. Like, there is vulgarity, so like hopefully if you have kids or you're young, like it just depends on how you want to do that with your kids or young age. But I honestly, like, I don't see like a niche market for this show. I think it appeals.
I thought it was funny. Like I watched it. I watched the whole season. I was like really like when I think it's is it 8 or 10 episodes the season one?
Yeah, it's 8 episodes.
Yeah, when it got to the end of that, I was kind of like like I really want to see the next one
Me too.
because I didn't hear this from you, but I did hear from people that it was actually a really good set as well. Meaning, the actors, there was no one that kind of was going too diva. It was actually a good set. That's what I heard. Would you concur?
Oh man, that was my first like big set I'd been on, in terms of like, I'd been on a big set, but in terms of like me, my biggest booking, and everyone told me like, you're being spoiled right now, and like so were they. They were being spoiled because that's how like everyone got along. Like, I was cooking in the food trucks with catering for fun with the guys. Like, everyone was just so friendly with each other, and so it was literally like a big family. And we didn't have much time to shoot it. Netflix gave us a couple months, which was cool, but it was literally just like we lived for each other for those 2.5-3 months, and there was never any like tension, nothing. It was just like literally a family. Like, I miss them a lot. So it was definitely that was one of the greatest things, was just it was like a really good, optimistic, positive vibe the whole time on set.
Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say we got a couple of questions coming in as we're coming. So if you want to ask Jordan any questions about Huge in France, the other film you've got coming out, Exploited, is that? Can you talk much about that, or?
I can talk about what I know. I know it's still in post production, so there's only so much I know as well, and I believe, like, I'm sure they kind of got a little hiccup from this as well. But that was definitely that was a crazy week. So it was cool. I had the audition on, I think, like a Tuesday for a role. Wednesday, they're like, okay, we'll look at it. Thursday, I had a doctor's appointment down in San Diego, and I live in Los Angeles. Thursday, they're like, oh, hey, we actually want you to read for the lead role. We liked your tape. Can you have the tape to us by 5 p.m.? I'm like, I'm in Los Angeles right now. It's 2 p.m. There is no way. So I called my coach, and I was like, dude, what do I do? He's like, they're going to have to get it tomorrow. So I taped with him. I drove back to Los Angeles, taped with him at 11 p.m., submitted it Friday morning. So from Thursday to Friday, I'd sent a whole new material. By Friday night, I was told I was getting on a plane to Kentucky the next day because I booked the lead. So it was just like within the span of 3 days, I went from like, oh, hey, I'm just chilling, going on auditions to like being in Kentucky, being the lead of a film. So it was awesome, but it was it
It
was
sounds
fun.
like a movie. It sounds like a movie script in itself.
I know. I should have just logged the whole thing.
I got a question came in from Lisa as we were just talking. She said, "What's your role in the film Exploited? What is your role that you've got?"
Yeah, so I am a college. I'm going to a college student, kind of on that area of not knowing like where I sit in my life. I'm questioning myself, and I think a lot of people, like a lot of college students, are questioning themselves or aren't comfortable with exposing like how they just like they're feeling. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be kind of had have assumptions made about them. So that's kind of where my character goes in. Is I don't know what I want in terms of like what I want out of college, what friends I want, what sexuality, what I prefer, all this. So I'm going into it like that, and I can't give out too much just because it is in post. Um, but it's basically this college kid who is undergoing kind of like this rough. It's like a horror, like a thriller, um, and just kind of like just wants to go into college, be a cool normal kid, and just ends up being going down this path and being exploited in a way to where it could hurt him, it could hurt his friends if he doesn't abide by these exploitations that are going on to him. And it was definitely a cool and very, as like an actor, a very different and not uncomfortable role in a sense. Like I pushed myself as an actor, so it was really good for me.
It had substance and a bit of depth.
Yeah, there was definitely some space where I was like there was days where I had teared up and cried that because Jordan was emotional from just how much it pushed me as like an actor and how
Right,
connected I
right.
was. So I can't give out too much info just because it is still in post production, but I will just say it's a college kid trying to find his way, and some not so good people want to do some not so good things to him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to say, I think a question I wanted to circle back because I've noticed another question came in. This one, how do you fit in such a role? You are funny by nature. I think that's a compliment as well.
Well, I do. I really do like talking to people. Just when I was working back in restaurants, like you said earlier, like how do you develop yourself and like work and develop your craft? Like I was, man, it took me a long time before I even got a big booking. So one of my favorite things was in terms of her referring to that as funny. I used to never be able to just like sit and talk to someone, like develop that personable relationship skill was like never something I had until I started. Like I did groundlings courses, and like that was cool and fun to help me. But working in the restaurants, I definitely became like I had fun. I'd make jokes or play different characters, or like maybe I'd be from Britain today, or maybe try and play Australian, and they would have no idea it was just me having fun and trying to develop myself as an actor.
How is your? I got to ask you, how is your Australian accent?
Oh dang it! I Sometimes it gets crossed between like a British accent and Australian. I don't know. I can try and it's not amazing. It's not
You
amazing.
do it, but I gotta ask you as well. Like, out of all the actors you've worked with, I mean, obviously a feature film, exploited TV show like Netflix, that's a TV show. Who have you learned the most off? Who's an actor that you've learned the most off?
After I filmed with Matty Del Negro on Who Played My Stepdad, he's Jason Allen Ross. Jason Allen Ross. Like if you watch the show, you get the joke.
Oh yeah,
But,
he was great. He had a nice character arc, didn't he?
oh my gosh, I couldn't like after working with him, he literally became one of my. I even shoot him messages like, dude, like after that, like you became. He is a big inspiration of mine now as an actor. He has like so much range. He's funny. It's not like you go onto Google and you see his face all over the place. He's not huge, but man, that guy he is very talented.
Yeah.
Very talented. Like there's so much, especially in The Sopranos, like where he goes serious to dramatic to one of the funniest guys I met, and ultimately just the coolest thing was he was just a good dude.
Yeah.
Like super nice.
It's good. It's good because you guys had a close relationship on that show, kind of working together on set and off set really helps.
Yeah.
Um, I looked at another question that just came through the questions as we were talking, which was kind of like a pivot away from that, Jordan. Your answer was great, by the way. I'm not switching subjects for any reason or other. I just want to get that question. I got a question from Dan that said, "How do you upload a script to Mogul?" For anyone watching, sign up to the platform, kind of like what Jordan's done. All you have to do is just make a profile, submit your script, and then that gets your script in front of some pretty heavy people in the industry to try and get it made. Because again, Mogul wants to make it easier for people to make their scripts rather than that process where you have to, really work the system together, a good script in front of the right person. So,
and you've seen there's some. I would never judge someone's writing, but there's some material out there where like people who have such great writing, but they don't know how to get it in front of the eyes that need to see it. And then you have stuff that's being made where you're just like, I've read stuff from friends that is so much more captivating, and it just sucks that they don't have that like shoe in the door to do so.
Yeah, and you need that platform, don't you? You need that connection, especially if you don't necessarily live right in the center of Hollywood. It's really hard to get plugged in, isn't it? And then, just because, again, you could be living just outside of LA, you could be an amazing scriptwriter, but if you're not quite plugged in, it's harder to get a script picked up. And that's where I think technology is really good for getting that sort of done. Where you're standing at the moment, what are you going to change when the coronavirus kind of blows over as far as your day-to-day life?
I'm hoping that it's hard because it's like, even though they tell us like in terms of rules and regulations that we have to abide by, I'm hoping that we at least have normalcy and comfortability. And if we're like, hopefully experts wise will allow us, like it's safe for us to do so, but allow more of that personal connection. I love the fact, even because once you get past the technological phase, like you have, like at some point you got to meet with someone, you got to have a table read, you got to have the producer, you can't shoot everything over an iPhone. So it does come down to like being with the people physically. And so I'm hoping that it comes to a point where that physical interaction is allowed to be done and comfortable with it, and people aren't. I get it, we got to be aware and cautious, but I'm just hoping it kind of goes back to a little bit more of normalcy in terms of physically being. And yeah, just it's just like it's hard because you kind of just gotta play the waiting game in a way, in that sense. But I'm just hoping it kind of goes back to the sense where you can like, okay, I can be in a room, I can table read with someone, I can shoot a film, whether you have your sound guy, you have the cinematographer, you have the director, and it's just like there's no, because man, I walk down the street and people are looking at me like I'm psycho because he might be infected. Like I don't want to hear that. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
So are you working on any scripts at the moment, or any kind of passion projects behind the scenes?
Yes, kind of a lot. There's like a lot of personal stuff I want to work on in terms of myself as an actor. Like they had brought up comedy. Me, like one of my goals this year was like, I want to pursue a stand-up and do a stand-up show, whether I fail, whether I get a laugh, no laughs. Like I just want to stress that area of myself as an actor. And I just like talking to people. It's fun. In terms of like technique and scene study, I've done a lot more and developed. It used to be for me just like, okay, memorize it, be coached, and submit the tape or go to the audition. I've gone a lot more into like breaking down the scene. Like, what is the other character thinking? What would the other character say to help me portray my perspective on this character? And just like literally, it could be 1-page scene and spending 2 hours just finding different nuances and like levels of that scene. And so I guess a lot of script analysis, just on the book stuff. I kind of want to get into writing, but yeah.
That sounds great. Well, if there's anything you want to get picked up, send it through the channel as well.
Heck yeah. I have some very talented friends and some great writing. Like you said, it's hard to get it in the hands of people who need to see it. And so, man, they'd be awesome for this.
You got a nice compliment. I just saw someone said you'd be a great voice actor as well.
Well, that is, I gotta talk to my reps about that, because I would love to.
I was going to say, we're down to like the last 2 minutes with Jordan. Again, if you got any questions for Jordan, want to learn a little bit about Mogul, now's a great time. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to end with this kind of question. It's a little open-ended, Jordan, but I mean, you've done obviously TV show, which is a different shooting timeline. You've obviously got Exploited coming out, a feature film that was in Kentucky. I mean, what are your two biggest takeaways? What you've learned in your journey so far?
Oh man, even prior to that,
You can go. You can go as far back as you like. The two biggest takeaways in the film industry to kind of boost your career. Then,
patience and persistence. Man, my manager Tristan, she is great. Before I had her, I was writing I couldn't get an appointment to an agency or to a meeting because my credits, because of anything. No one was willing to take a chance. I didn't have a meeting or any emails back. I got on my bike, rode around Hollywood to 10 different agencies and managers and said, I don't have an appointment. Here's my headshot. Because, like, if you don't try, it's already a no. So I was like, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. I'm going to give him my headshot. I'm going to reach out to as many people as I can saying I'm, like, willing to develop myself. And so I think credits or no credits, don't judge your work or judge where you could be by a piece of paper that says what you've done. Like, I get it. It helps. But, man, I booked Huge in France off of not having many credits at all, but I didn't care whether it took me 5, 10, 15 years. Like, once I learned to enjoy the journey and the process of having fun with my acting, that's when all the accessory and external, satisfaction of, like, came through. Like, the fun stuff started happening because I wasn't so focused on, I got to walk the red carpet someday. No, if it happens, cool, but that's not my goal. So patience, persistence, like, don't expect to, like, don't, like, have a vision, have a goal, but don't, like, give yourself an ultimatum. Like, just enjoy the process and the journey. As long as, like, you're living your life, you're paying the bills, like, just have fun.
Yeah, there's really good feedback coming in the chat at the moment about what you're saying. Like I can see already people are really picking up what you said because I have a saying as well, which is you miss. It's not my saying. It's very common, but it's you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Kind of like what you were saying. If you don't ride your bike around to these agents, you've already missed out. So you may as well at least try, and then.
Yeah, it might be. I got some bad responses too, like, who do you think you are, kid? I was like, I don't know who I am. I'm trying to, I'm trying to find that out too. But shoot, if I don't have an offer, like, this is my closest chance because the email you sent me said no appointments available. So here's my headshot, and I was just like, it ended up working out. It was great.
Yeah, I mean the feedback coming in. I think it's really resonating. A lot of the film guys involved in Mogul as well can really resonate with what you're saying because that's what it's about, right? Persistence and just going for it and not holding yourself back.
Absolutely, yeah. If you thing with, like, there's in all industries, like, this commitment in your work and just commitment in general is, like, a big thing. I think people are so, even myself, I'm very hesitant or scared about. So, like, oh, is that good? Is that good enough? And I think you just gotta, like, commit to your craft, whether it be writing, producing, directing, and, like, not that it's egotistical or that you have a high ego, but just being confident in yourself is definitely another big one.
Yeah. I did say there was one question. This is my last question, but I kind of feel like you're on a really good roll. What's one thing that's missing in Hollywood right now that you think should be changed?
Ooh, oh man. In what?
From an actor's perspective. What is one thing you think that would be great if there was some change there?
Oh, geez, that's a one thing changed or added or changed. Oh gosh,
Change for the better.
Hmm.
It's open ended. It's open ended.
That's a tough one. Because I get it. I hear so many complaints, but it's so subjective to the individual. So I'm trying to find, like, a very broad, general, like, what could be fixed.
It's a wise answer. Yeah, I think one of the things that from speaking to a lot of actors, such as yourself, again, is that idea of I guess transparency and kind of integrity in the industry, which is hard to get. And you kind of went back to being on Huge in France. You said it was a great TV show. I think, from what you hear, it's like it's a great TV show here, but then, the next role or the next TV show you get, it's kind of like a completely opposite. It's there's a lot of behind the scenes games, lots of snakes and ladders.
Yeah. I guess one thing that could be, that's the thing. Netflix was so, oh man, they were like rules by rules. Like, there was no, like they'll take care of you. They'll play by the rules. I could see where things could get finicky within a production or among actors, or like there's just some slight not in it for themselves idea. I think everyone is they're playing the game, but there is some times where like maybe some people are uncomfortable. One thing I would change is like I think a lot of people need to be more open with their comfortability maybe, and this could be subjective to me too, saying what you're not comfortable with, what you're comfortable with, and not worrying about am I going to miss an opportunity because I'm not comfortable, because it's going to show in that moment. So if you're uncomfortable, you like make it known there and don't make it known on. I mean, that might be as an actor me answering, but just be open and honest in all aspects. It's definitely something that would be good overall.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Jordan, great to chat with you again. Where can we find you on the next project? Exploited's your next film coming out?
That is the next one coming out.
Yeah, we'll look out for it, and you're always welcome to come back and have a chat with Mogul. And great to see you using the platform as well.
I'd love to. Thanks for having me. And let me know. Like I said, I love talking, so I'm here.
You got it. Thanks, Jordan.
I got lots of
Talk
time.
to you later. You got it. Thanks, buddy.
All right, thanks, James. Thanks, guys.